So what if I told you you could live in paradise with daily beach walks, drinking coconuts every day, and the sun's out pretty much day as well? Well, that's Thailand for you. But how much does it actually cost? Well, that depends, because you might have seen people online claiming to live the Thailand life for just $500 a month. But I don't think that's the case anymore, unless maybe if you're extremely frugal, have the smallest and cheapest studio condo you could find, and only eat chicken and rice for every meal. Then maybe, at a stretch. But as for a more realistic cost of living, that's the purpose of today's video. And although cost of living in Thailand has been going up, what is it in 2026? Well, let me break it down for you, starting with my cost of living. Because I'm not super rich or a millionaire by no means, so don't expect the cost of living for a penthouse. I live a simple, easygoing, chill life, nothing fancy, just the normal, I'd say. So here's my cost of living and how much I pay every month on average to live out here. The first one being the rent, and I pay $370, which is definitely on the higher side. I could cut that in half if I got rid of my balcony view and the location, because my condo is a one-bed condo, beachfront, sea view, and not too far from the city centre, which is why it's a bit more pricier. As I said, if I got rid of the balcony view and the beachfront, I'd be paying $200. But I wanted this, so that's what I got. Next will be food. I do a combination of food shopping and cooking, and then in the evenings I go to the food market. I'd say on average the food cost me about $200 every month, and if I went out for more meals perhaps, or cooked a little bit less, then it might be a bit more than that, but that's my cost anyway every month on average. Now onto the bills. Electricity. I mean, I think I have a pretty good fixed rate here, because my electricity bill is quite cheap compared to most people I know, and they use a fan and I use the AC all the time, and the AC costs quite a bit more. But for me it's $20 a month, on average. Another bill I have to pay is the water. That comes in at about $5 on average a month, but that doesn't include drinking water, that's separate. Drinking water, another $5 every month. There's a machine in most condos, and even on the street sometimes when you're walking down. You pay next to nothing to fill up a 1 litre bottle, probably less than $5 honestly, but I've just budgeted $5. If it's any less, then whatever. It costs near enough nothing anyway. Next would be Wi-Fi, which again, another $5 every month, with faster speeds than compared to England as well, might I add. I mean, I pay what, a fifth of the price I pay back home, and the speeds are 5 times faster. Next would be mobile data, which is only $10 a month. And I don't even think it's unlimited, I think it's like 15 gigabytes or something like that, but I've never used the max anyway. Another bill would be the gym. Now you might not have this, it might be included in your condo. I do have a gym here, but it's not the best, so I pay for a proper one at $30 a month. Then transport, my cost of living for that, $25 a month. And that's whether it's taxis, songtails, vans, buses, you know, if I'm going Bangkok for example, all of that. On average, $25. And then in this budget, I have $50 for any miscellaneous items, whether that's mosquito spray, sun cream, you name it, $50 budget to that. And the total of all of that, the rent, the food, and all the bills I've just mentioned, is $720 a month, which is my cost of living. I'm not including any fun money or anything extra I do, $720. And to live this lifestyle back in England, it would cost me thousands. I mean, a sea view condo alone back in England, the rent would be more than my entire cost of living each month out here anyway. But as I said, for $720 a month, without including anything extra in my cost of living, like your haircuts or as I said, any activities or going out for any meals. But if I wanted to include that or give myself some fun money, then my cost of living is more like $750 to $800 a month. On average, I think is a more realistic estimate, which I'm more than happy to pay for the life I live. I'd say I'd make that deal any day, and well, I already have. But there are some hidden costs when it comes to this, some things I'm not mentioning, that you probably need to take into an account when moving to Thailand. Like health insurance, visas or visa runs, banking fees, because when you go to the ATM there is a withdrawal fee every time, and the prices of any imported goods, western foods or anything like that is going to cost more than the local stuff as well. But if you want to know a bit more about the cost of living and all the hidden costs, then check out link in the description to my website where I have my full Move to Thailand guide, which will answer any question that you have before you move to the other side of the world. Obviously I can go much more in detail in there, so if you're more serious about moving, check it out, but let's get back to the video. Because the last portion of this video, I just want to give you guys a couple of examples for cost of living, you know, on the low end, the medium, and the high end. Because not everybody will live the life I live. So as for examples of cost of living other than my own, I'd say the low end and the cheapest option would probably be around $500 maybe, like I said. You'd have to be extremely frugal, only buy what you need, and never leave the condo unless you're walking down the beach, because it's free. Then maybe that's possible. Also, this option wouldn't be an option if you're in any major cities. You'd more than likely have to go more rural, or live the true hostel backpacker life, which just isn't for me, but I know some people like it. The next example I'm going to give is the middle or normal spending example, which is where I would be, between $750 to $1,000. You can live a good life, just make sure you budget because everything looks cheap at first, but it will quickly add up. With this budget though, you can leave some spare cash for some fun money, activities, and live life a bit more than the previous frugal example. But but you still will have to budget. And the higher example in Thailand would be anything over $1,000 a month, which can be done very easily. In fact, if you don't budget, then you'll definitely be spending more than $1,000. But if you have the money, then this would be the option if you want to live like a king. Because you can get a nice big condo, good location, good view, or even a nice villa, if you split it with some friends maybe. Plus on this kind of budget, you don't have to cook if you don't want to. You can use street food or food markets, no problem. And also you won't have to worry about switching to fan mode on your AC to save money all the time, because that is a big money drainer. But if you've got the money to spend, you can enjoy the AC every day, all day. And that's it for the cost of living here in Thailand, my budget, as well as a couple of other examples, so you guys can hopefully have a decent idea of how much money you'll need to live the life you want to live out here. And speaking of the dream life in Thailand, if you are wanting to move but don't know how, as I said, check out my Move to Thailand guide, which has everything you'd want to know, from getting the right visas, picking what city you'll want to live in, tips from someone who's actually lived in Thailand, and everything else you'd need to know before the move. But yeah, that's it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.